Yeah, baby. Season 2. We're back. And we are back.
It's fantastic to be back.
I think the stakes have raised. Immediately it has a very different feel to it this season.
There's more action, more trauma.
You're going to meet some interesting new characters.
And quite a few surprises.
Ta-da! What? Eva's back.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Bill Sterling. David Sterling's older brother. David sends his warmest regards from Gavi, a prisoner of war camp in northern Italy.
We pick up in season 2 after David Sterling's capture.
David Sterling is now prisoner of war.
The regiment is left in limbo with Paddy Mayne in command.
Now, Paddy Mayne is the born rebel. He's the one that punches the commanding officer. He's not normally the commanding officer.
The future of the regiment is in doubt, and so Bill comes on board to try and save the regiment ultimately.
And he has to do a deal with Paddy, whereby they're to become a spearhead force.
You, Paddy Mayne, could be the first Allied commander to set foot in Nazi-occupied Europe. The very first. But I need to convince GHQ that the Irishman can change.
Our next mission is utter fucking madness. So we will require the services of madmen.
It's a really exciting start to the season, is the invasion of Sicily.
I mean, basically, the SAS kicked off the invasion of Europe. They were the first people on the beach.
I start there.
It's an amazing campaign that they go on, you know, hugely important in dictating the overall outcome of the war eventually. They still have the swagger, the bravery, the military intent of Series 1, but now they have to deal with so many obstacles in their way, both physically and mentally.
Hi!
It's lovely to be back on a show when it's a hit, you know. It doesn't happen very often, I can tell you.
And we've had the pleasure of having new cast members join us.
The new crop, don't like them. They weren't there. They haven't seen what we've seen. Nah, they're a good bunch. Just credit to all the lads. I love this bunch. It's the best job in the world.
It's great, isn't it?
It seems like a bit of a brotherhood in a way.
I have loved being embraced by this SAS family. It's a really special job, actually.
One of the big joys for me of working on returning series is mixing up and bringing new energy.
Here we go then, and rehearsing.
Stephen Wolfenden is the director of Series 2.
The drone and do a little 360 thing.
He's got such experience of huge action pieces, but he also really responded to the material.
He took the bull by the horns. He's well versed with making something look visceral and exciting.
From a director's point of view, the action is very important, but it's only important because you're putting the characters right in amongst it.
Ready!
We prepped really, really forensically and bravely, as much as possible, everything that you can do in camera to give that resonance of real warfare. What's lovely is that you have a stunt coordinator and you have a military advisor and a special effects designer.
3, 2, 1.
So we can do things really specifically to get the camera close to our actors in all of that action.
Move on! Move on! Move on!
We do these long takes where we have real explosions going off.
Tanks blowing up and bazookas going off.
Back! Get inside!
And when you're in it, and you hear all these explosions and bangs around you and everyone's shouting, it gives you so much admiration for the people who actually done it for real. It's a brutal form of warfare, and I think it takes a toll on us.
PTSD plays a big part in the series.
We sort of see that seed get planted in episode 1 with something that they all have to endure.
And this is the magic of Stephen Knight's writing. He goes deep into the history, he finds the most amazing details, and then he magnifies them.
As we make our way at speed toward the snout of the Sicilian pig, you will encounter soldiers. British soldiers adrift at sea.
Stop the boat!
And you will do nothing to help them. You will do nothing. That is an order.
And these are real events that our characters really went through.
We see it play out and we see it haunt certain characters throughout the season.
Still hear the voices, Father. There's a lot of weight to people's stories in this, which is lovely.
We really focus on the unravelling of everyone's mind during this horrific period.
And certainly for Sea Kings, you see a little bit more of his inner turmoil, him coming to terms with what he's becoming and what they all are in solidarity as a unit.
In order to illustrate Paddy and Reggie's deeply troubled journey through the series, I use a technique, what I call the pressure point shot, putting a close focus lens close to our characters, slightly above the eye line.
No mockeries now for them. No prayers nor bells.
And you can just connect with them, you can feel the pressure that they're on. There's a huge responsibility for the show to be true and honest within a dramatic environment, but to the real people that lived these amazing lives. One of the great things we did in the first 2 weeks of filming was the burial sequence in episode 5. 21 men of the SAS have just died, and we are honouring that in this amazing burial scene.
All the names that you see that are on the grave sites here are the names of real men that died that day. This is especially important to me because I have a family member that died that day, and his name is on one of the grave sites we have here.
It's brilliant of Stephen Knight to have carved out this moment in the episode and in the series to name all of the fallen soldiers of that day.
These young men gave their lives, so I think the least we can do is name them.
Parachutist A. Duncan. Lance Corporal J.W. Phasm. Sergeant J.S. Finley. I'm so proud to play Dave Kershaw, like, to portray a real person, you know, and especially someone who's from my own city as well. It means a lot to me, that.
And what's been beautiful to see is that those actors are still in contact with many of the families. There are real relationships that have been struck because of the show.
I love playing Jim, and I've been talking more to his family. His great-grandsons are coming in. Got him in as SAS, and I can't wait to meet him.
It's great to be back playing Dave, and I spoke to his daughters and stuff, and we were happy with how I brought his sense of humour, and speaking to them firsthand before portraying him helped a lot.
Reading episode 1 for the first time and being a fan of the series, it was a joy to discover that Eve Mansour was back.
Season 2, you get to explore Eve on the front line.
She's seen the potential of the SAS and really wants them to be involved in the liberation of France and is trying to push her agenda.
Lieutenant Colonel Bill Sterling, 2 SAS. We missed each other in Sicily.
You mean you avoided me and ignored my request for an interview?
There's also another agenda for Eve. If Eve stays close to the SAS, she'll stay close to Bill Sterling. If she stays close to Bill Sterling, she can stay close to David Sterling.
You said you would have someone brief me on the progress of the war. That would be helpful.
But still, you'll want more.
Of course. Always, I will want more.
It's interesting, the dynamic between Bill and Eve and then David and Eve.
When Eve tells David about the fact that Bill is kind of sunk into this point of command and that the woman he loves is spending a lot of time with his older brother, it riles up within David this animal that has nowhere to go.
Welcome to my cell. Excuse the loud noises. There's a lot of angry chippies dossing about.
David Sterling is a prisoner of war throughout the whole series. Most of the time, he's in a 12-foot by 4-foot cell. So that presented serious challenges.
Yeah, it's been about him being on his own for the first time in his life, missing out on all the fun, which I have felt during all of this because I have been very much missing out on all the fun.
I will dig my way out of here like a dog.
It hits him badly.
Sterling, it's me! I lost a lot of weight for this, and I knew that in reading the scripts I was going to have to feel the sort of like hunger of like, I need to get out of here. That was a big challenge for me. It's something I've not done before, but I enjoyed. It was hard. No biscuits for me.
Connor was amazing, and it's a really interesting part of the story. He stays connected to the SAS. He has very interesting visitors, trying to escape all the time.
And he becomes a wild and uncontrollable character in a very different way from the first series.
Oh, it's going to be a grand adventure out here, boys.
Story-wise, I think it really takes us to a place that's different to the first one.
We've still got the amazing soundtrack, all the sass and swagger.
But I think it's layered with more drama and tragedy and depth. I'm actually just so excited to see it.
Been a massive thrill to do, and so hopefully it should be a thrill to watch.